So what are we talking about? Are we presenting incidents, percentages, or are they the same thing? Well, let's say that we are given a report. There's 5 new counts per week. So what information do we get from here? Well, we get a number of counts, 5. 5 counts of whatever we are counting. We are also being given a qualification. These are new counts. So whatever was there before, we're not counting. We're only counting new. And very important, we are given a period of time, 1 week. So we knew that whatever we are counting, new cases per 1 week, it's number 5. There's 5 new counts per week. So this is all the information we need to make an assessment of the situation. Let's think about it. This is an oil on canvas by Joaquin Sorolla, and it's called Mujer con mantilla negra. Anyway, let's think about what I just said. Let's imagine we have 2 identical reports. There's the number 5, they're all new, and they are all happening within 1 week of time, same week. So, in conclusion, they describe the same situation, right? We have all the information that we need to make the conclusion that they are exactly the same situation. Well, what information are we missing? We have 2 identical reports, 5 new counts within 7 days. And let's assume it's exactly the same 7 days. Well, we also need to know the identifiable source of the data. It could be a geographical source. So the 2 identical reports could be coming from 2 different countries or places in the world. They could be 2 different study reports. So they could be reporting different kind of disease populations or different kinds of situations. And there's also different kind of places like school, churches, or hospitals, like the one that I painted in that particular painting. So when we start with 2 identical reports, we have 5 new counts per week. Let's see what happens when now we know, in addition, the location. So let's say the first one is reported from Townsville. And Townsville has the little church. It does have a place, a common where they plant their harvest crops, and they have houses. They even have a little woods and a lake. It's a happy place with 1,000 inhabitants. The other data comes from Countryland. Countryland is a small country, but it has 2 beautiful mountain ranges where 2 meandering rivers actually originate, and they even have 2 different ports for boats and ships. So that's a very nice country land. It's a small, and there's 1 million inhabitants. So now with this additional information on the 2 identical reports, let's see how we interpret the data. So let's take a look at these 2 identical reports, new counts. And these counts can be anything that you can think of. Could be new diseases, hospital beds, results of laboratory, could be a particular disease or antibodies in the blood. It's 5 new counts in a week. Let's say it's a current week, wherever you are reading this report. And you have Townsville, or it could be one study. And Countryland could be study B. So how does this look? We have 5 in 1 week, and we have the 2 sources, Townsville and Countryland. So the total population of Townsville, I told you, was 1,000 people. And so the incidence. To calculate the incidence is new cases per time period per normalized population, generally 100,000 people. Although it depends. If we're looking at certain types of incidents, sometimes that normalization is per million. So it depends what we're looking at, but we need to have not just the time period where those new cases appeared, we also have to normalize it by a population. And the most common one used is 100,000 people. So how many would have been sick if Townsville had 100,000 people? Well, they have 5 in 1,000, so they would have had 500 in 100,000. Now, because of the small amount of people in Townsville, this incidence is an estimate. It's an extrapolation. It's assuming that the 1,000 people represent a population if they were 100 times higher. So reporting incidence in Townsville is an extrapolated number, is not counted. If we report the percentage, that is counted because Townsville has 1,000 people and they had 5 new counts, so that's a 0.5%. That is a real number counted, whereas the incidence is estimated. What happened in Countryland with those 5 cases in the week is that they have a population of 1 million people. So now we can calculate for each 100,000 of those 1 million inhabitants. This means that 0.5 new cases per 100,000 people are happening that week in Countryland. This is a real data, real counted number, because they do have 1 million as a denominator. And their percent is 0.0005%. So we started with exactly the 2 reports that looked identical, but when we add the source of the data, we realize that the conclusion is actually the opposite of what we thought before. They do not describe the same situation. In Townsville, we really have a 1,000-fold higher new incidence or new cases counts than Countryland. Now, no matter if you look at incidence that Townsville has it estimated or percentage, the ratio is still 1,000. My recommendation is that if you do need to extrapolate for incidence, better report percentage. So if we do not have the normalization per 100,000 people, just report percentage is what you are measuring, and it's really telling us the same information but in a more accurate way. So when we're making a decision, are we going to talk about percentage or incidence, and which one is better? Well, the goal ultimately is that we need to understand the situation in context. And the purpose of reporting percentage or incidence is to assess and plan for improvement. For instance, we want to reduce the number of new cases, or we want to increase. It could be best crops, right? We can be looking at any kind of counts. So when we want to compare between different populations or different studies or different reports, and we want to make sure that we improve, we can use percentage if we have identified the numerator and the denominator. So the numerator is whatever we are counting. And it's very important that I tell you that for percentages, they don't need the qualifying new counts. A percentage can be reported number of children in a school, and it doesn't need to be new children in this week. It's also independent of a particular period of time. We can be counting in a snapshot of time what is the percent of children in second grade compared to the children of that age. So that important thing is having the numerator and the denominator. And it gives us a better option for describing a situation when we don't have all of the elements to calculate incidence. In the incidence, for instance, we need to have new cases in the numerator, and we need to identify the denominator very clearly, same as before, but we do need to establish a time period that is very clear. In many cases, it has to be per year, normalized per year. I gave you the example per week, but as long as you use the same time period when comparing. And it has to be normalized by a given size of the population. And the most common is 100,000 people, but like I said, depending on what we are reporting, it could be 1 million. So if we do not have the ability to use the same time periods or normalize by the size of the population, and what we have is a very good way of calculating percentages, well, then just report percentages. Don't say that it's incidence. You don't have all the elements. Describe what you are reporting. At the end, the conclusions are more accurate. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please check other videos in my channel and subscribe. Thank you very much.